Hello everyone. Let's review shlokas 170 and 171 in Lalitha Sahasranamam. Chaitanyārghya samārādhyā chaitanya kusumapriyā sadoditā sadātuśhṭā taruṇāditya pāṭalā dakśhiṇā dakśhiṇārādhyā darasmera mukhāmbujā kauḻinī kevalā kaivalya padadāyinī. Let's take a look at the meanings of the namas in these shlokas. The first nama here is chaitanyārghya samārādhyā. Chaitanyārghya samārādhyā is how it is split. Chaitanyam is generally considered as pure consciousness. Chaitanyam, to take one level down, is really the knowledge of a higher level of consciousness. So that's called as chaitanyam. Argyam means something that's offered to God, oblations or offerings to God. Samārādhyā means worshipped by. So she is someone who's worshipped by offering this consciousness as the oblation. So let's understand this chaitanyam a little bit more. So imagine you're in a dark room. There is no light. You've never been in that room, but you're in that room now. And with that pitch dark, you're not able to see anything. Now suddenly, there is light that's switched on and the light floods into this room. And when that light floods into the room, immediately you're able to see what was in that room. So there might have been a beautiful painting there, or there is this amazing color on the wall. Now all of this comes into your awareness because of that light. That light that was turned on is called as chaitanya, and what we became aware of, the knowledge of the things around there, what crept into our consciousness is called as chaitanyam. So in general, as human beings, we all experience three states of consciousness. So we call that Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti. Jagrat is called as the waking state, and in the waking state, we have this clear sense of I versus the world. So we are very clear, and it's a solid way in which we experience the external objects. So the body and mind are both active. So in that, it is always about the external objects. We are interacting with this material world, and we have a very solid difference between what is I versus what is the rest of the world. The next state is called as swapna, where it is a dreaming state. In the dreaming state, the body is not active, but the mind is still active. So even here, we are still experiencing the external world, but it is not as solid as in the waking state. And as long as we are in the dreaming state, everything that we experience is very real. Only after we wake up, we realize that it was a dreaming state. So even here, we are still experiencing the external objects, something that's outside of us, but it is in an imaginary world, and it is not as solid. It's a little bit subtle. So both in the waking state and the dreaming state, we have this clear demarcation between what is I and what is other. That differentiation exists. Then we all regularly experience what's called as a sushupti, which is the deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state, both body and mind are at rest. Right? At that time, the experience is one of the self. That is the true I. For all of us, our consciousness or what we imagine to be ourselves could be somewhere between the body and mind. It's not purely body, it's not purely mind, it's a combination of the two. But according to all our scriptures, there is the true self, that is the jivatma, which is the witness to all our experiences, and that is the true self. It is not the body, it's not the mind, it is the Atman. And that Atman is the same as the universal consciousness. So there is Jivatma and Paramatma. So both are one and the same. But because of our lack of knowledge or ignorance, which is called as avidya, which is an effect of Maya, all of us perceive ourselves to be either body or mind. So, in the deep sleep state, everybody gets to experience their true self. That's why when we wake up, we'll say, "Oh, I slept off." So, if your body was not active, your mind was not active, who was sleeping? So, then we are able to know that's the soul, but unfortunately, we don't have a full knowledge of our experience. And that's where enlightened beings have the ability to go to a fourth state of consciousness, which is called as turiya. And in here, they are able to experience what's called as samadhi. And in the samadhi, they are able to get the experience of that self, a knowledge of that experience of the self. And it is said that even in the samadhi state, somebody could experience that self, be aware that they are the self, but they can slip back into the same jagrat, swapna, and sushupti state. And when they continue to pursue that, and when they become truly enlightened, then they see their self. Everything becomes the self. So there is no differentiation anymore between I and other. So they are merged with that universal consciousness. At that state, it is a non-dual state, and that is where it's called as a pure consciousness. And at that point, it is the experience of a realized yogin that they see themselves, the soul atma, in everything, and they are able to appreciate the oneness. Their experience is one of oneness, and that's what is called as the experience enlightened state, and that is the liberated state. And chaitanyam is the consciousness that they are experiencing in that state, that is the pure consciousness. The next nama here is chaitanya kusumapriyā. So chaitanyam again is that awareness of the higher level of consciousness or the pure consciousness. Kusuma means flower, priya means fond of. So she is fond of the flower of consciousness, or she is fond of the consciousness flowering, because a flower then becomes an unripe fruit and that becomes the ripe fruit. So the ripe fruit here is the liberation. So she is fond of the consciousness flowering, which then gives the fruit called liberation. So what does consciousness flowering mean? So when consciousness flowers, when somebody gets into that turiya state, then what happens is that they have a certain qualities. So non-violence, ability to control their senses, compassion towards all beings, not just our circle of whom we like, whom we relate to, etc. Sarva bhutadaya. So consciousness towards everything in this world and all beings. And then forbearance. It's one thing to be very compassionate, but at the same time, it is one thing, it is a completely different thing to forgive someone who does wrong to us. So forbearance becomes their experience. Then they are capable of knowledge, they do penance, they meditate, and then finally they become aware of that one truth. So that's what consciousness flowering means, and she is fond of that flower of consciousness. Sadoditā is the next nama. Sada udita is how it splits. Sada means always. Udita means something that's ascended or elevated. So when the sun rises in the morning, we say udita. So Udyat Banu is something that many people might be familiar with, rising sun. So udita means risen or ascended, elevated, high. Those are all the meanings. Sada udita, perpetually ascended. So if you look at the sun, for us, the experience of the sun is that sun rises in the morning, but it sets in the evening. But for her, there is only one state. There is no rising and setting. She is always risen. What that means is that she is always grand, always great, always lofty. So that means she is perpetually sublime. She is someone who is awe-inspiring and who's always in that high. So she is Sada Udita. Sadātuśhṭā. Sada means always. Tushta means content. So she is always content. That means she is always happy. She is always blissful. Taruṇāditya pāṭalā. So the split is taruṇāditya pāṭalā. Taruna means young or youthful. Aditya means sun, and pāṭalā means a rose color. So she has a rose hue like the rising sun. Dakśhiṇā dakśhiṇārādhyā. So dakśhiṇā is split as dakśhiṇā ādhyā. So daksha in Sanskrit means skilled, capable. So dakshina is one who is skilled. What are they skilled in? In Vedas. So someone who is scholarly. Adakshina means someone who's not scholarly, who could be a normal layman who's not capable of going and understanding all the Vedas, etc. Aradhya means worshipped by. So she's someone who can be worshipped by those scholarly pandits who are well versed in Vedas, or the layman who does not know anything. She's equally available to all. Another way to look at dakshina dakśhiṇārādhyā, dakshina can be interpreted as right as well. Meaning in Sanskrit for dakshina is right. So she is available to those who pursue the right-handed path, or adakshina, which is the opposite of the right, which is left. So the left-handed path. So in the Shakta tradition, it is possible to follow the right-handed paths. Right-handed paths are all about following what's said in the Vedas, whereas the left-handed path permit things that are not supported by Vedas. So, for example, they can consume wine, meat, be with women, etc. Those are all things that are allowed in that path. However, they're all always used to work all the desires out of our system. So it is not like any one path is good or bad. There are just multiple ways to reach to the same end. And therefore, she is worshipped by those who are following the right-handed path or left-handed path. She is equally available regardless of which path you choose. Darasmera mukhāmbujā. Dara in Sanskrit means stream, something that is continuous. Smera means smile. Mukham means face. Ambuja means lotus. So there is a continuous smile on her lotus face. So regardless of whether you worship her in the right-handed path or left-handed path, whether you are a scholarly person or someone who's a layman, she is continuously available to all of us with that same continuous smile on her face. The next nama here is kauḻinī kevalā. Kauḻinī is one who is the part of the kula. So kauḻinī is also one who is worshipped by the kaulāchāra, which is none other than the left-handed path. So kauḻinī is the deity who is worshipped by the kaulāchāra. And kauḻinī can be interpreted in many ways. She is in the kula or clan or lineages, and also she is in the Sushumana Nadi, that's also called as kaula. So she is the kauḻinī, one who is present in the kaula, or one who is worshipped by the kaula margam. Kevalā. Kevalā means one or single, only one and only. That's what the meaning of kevalā is. So the kevalā is the one and only pure consciousness that represents the state of non-duality. There is no other, there is only one. In fact, in Kaula Margam, they do not worship multiple gods, they just worship one deity. And that's what they pursue to attain liberation, which is believed that there is only one, there is no other. So, kauḻinī kevalā, she is that pure consciousness that is worshipped by the kaulas. Anarghya kaivalya padadāyinī. Anarghya means priceless, invaluable. Kaivalyam. Kaivalya is the liberation, which is the non-dual state, which is one and only. Understanding that everything in this universe is one. So, kaivalya padam is that state. Padam is a state. Kaivalya padam is the state of non-duality. Dayini means bestower. So she is capable of bestowing that priceless liberation, which allows a person to know that there is no other, there is only one, and everything is one. With that, we have looked at the meanings of all the namas in these two shlokas. Let's look at a story related to the nama sadoditā. Sada udita, which is perpetually sublime. That means always great, always outstanding, always awe-inspiring. So, one of the characters in Ramayana who is outstanding and awe-inspiring is Hanuman. Jaya Hanuman Jnana Gunasagara Jaya Kapisa Dihuloka Ujakara Ramaduta Atulita Baladama Anchaniputra Pavanasutanama Shankara Suvana Kesari Nandana Teja Pradapa Mahajagavandana. So if you look at Anjaneya, be it his intent, his will, his emotions, his intellect, his actions, everything is grounded in that spirituality. It's perfectly refined and it is grounded in spirituality. And that's why Anjaneya is revered by everybody. And you can see Teja Pradapa. So it is his radiance that is making him be adored by everyone. Whenever anything is shining, whether it is the light in the sun or light in our own consciousness, which is the chaitanyam, that always represents the ultimate reality. So, by following this spirituality, by being grounded in that spirituality, it is possible to become one with that Brahma and Shiva and Vishnu. So that's what Hanuman represents. Hanuman is a perfect combination of Bhakti and Shakti. So if you look at it, Hanuman is in the form of a monkey. That is how we look at Hanuman. External appearance is like a monkey. So, what does Hanuman represent? If you look at our mind cannot stay still. It has to always jump from one thought to another thought. That is the constant way mind works. Mind never is still, right? And that's why we call it monkey mind, because it keeps moving. And when that monkey mind meets with bhakti, when bhakti creeps into that mind, what happens? We are able to focus, we are able to get refined, and what does that become? That results in Shakti, which is all our limitations are ended and we become capable of anything and everything. And when limitations all stop or all our limitations cease to exist, that person has attained the liberation state. So that's what Hanuman represents. When our monkey mind has bhakti in it, then we become capable of anything and even able to attain that liberation. So Hanuman is a great combination of bhakti and Shakti. So today we'll see some parts of the Ramayana, more about the origin of Hanuman and how he met Rama and how he helped Rama. So that's what we will look today. So if you look at the birth of Hanuman, actually there was a Apsara called Punjikasthala, and she was in Indra's court. And once sage Durvasa came to meet Indra and he was talking to Indra, and it said that Punjikasthala was constantly moving about. She was going in, coming out, constantly moving, and which really distracted sage Durvasa. So he got very angry and he cursed her to be born as a monkey, because like a monkey she was not able to stay still. Therefore he cursed her to become a monkey. Punjikasthala was really shocked, and then sage Durvasa said, "Don't worry, your curse will be lifted when you give birth to a son who is an Amsha of Shiva, who is a avatar of Shiva, if you will, or who has the qualities of Shiva." So Punjikasthala was born as a Vanara princess, a monkey princess named Anjana. And Anjana married a monkey prince named Kesari. And this Kesari had such power, like a lion. That's why he's called as Kesari. And he was a great monkey king. So she married him. and they both were looking forward to having children, but many years passed and they didn't have children. And so Anjana started doing a penance towards Shiva so that she can have a son who is an Amsa of Shiva. So this is going on. In the meantime, King Dashratha did a Putrakameshti Yajna in order to get children. And the Yajna Purusha gave him a pudding and asked him to distribute it amongst his 3 wives. And it said that when Sumitra was about to take her portion, a bird snatched away some of the pudding, and it is said that Vayu Bhagavan took that pudding and gave it to the hands of Anjana. He brought it all the way to the hands of Anjana, who immediately consumed it. So she was doing penance for Shiva. She thought of that as the prasadam from Shiva, and so she immediately ate it. And that's how Anjaneya was born. And because he is the son of Anjana, we call him Anjaneya. And because Vayu brought that pudding to the hands of Anjana, we consider him as the godson of Vayu. So he is also called as Vayu Putra. Once when Hanuman was really young, he thought the sun was the fruit, and therefore he just reached all the way to the sun. He started going towards the sun so that he can get that fruit. At that time, Indra saw, and he was worried about this child going very close to the sun. And so immediately he took his Vajrayudham and hit Anjaneya. And as soon as he was hit with the Vajrayudham, Anjaneya fainted and fell. And there itself you can see the power. Anybody hit with Vajrayudham will not survive it, but Anjaneya just fainted and fell. As soon as Vayu came to know about it, he got very upset with the way his godson was treated, and therefore Vayu went inside a cave and refused to come out. Now, without Vayu, all the worlds are suffocating. Vayu is the air. So without that, everybody is suffocating. So all the gods gave all their powers. Each one, whatever power they had, they gave it to Anjaneya in order to please Vayu. So then every single god has given all their powers to Anjaneya, who's become the recipient of all the powers that are possible. So he became invincible. And then Vayu was pleased and came out. And that's why we call him Hanuman, because he has a disfigured jaw. Because he got hit with the Vajrayudham, his jaw got slightly disfigured. So we call him Hanuman. And it is said that Hanuman learnt from Surya and the sun god. So the sun god could not be in one place, right? Because the sun has to rise and set, and that's how the world functions. And so it is said that Anjaneya actually traveled along with the sun at the speed of that in order to learn everything from the sun. And after he had learned everything, Anjaneya asked sun what he was supposed to do. And then the sun told Anjaneya, go and help my son Sugriva. So Sugriva is considered to be a son of Surya. So he said, go and help him. So Hanuman stayed with Sugriva as his minister. Sugriva and Vali are considered to be brothers, and they had a fight related to the throne. Vali had a misunderstanding that Sugriva was trying to take over the kingdom, and Vali is very, very powerful, and he also has this boon that if anybody stands in front of him, half of their strength will go to Vali. And so with that, he also took Sugriva's wife. And so Sugriva was in hiding, and he was in a mountain called Rishyamukha. That was the only place Vali couldn't come because he had a curse from sage Matanga. So now this is where Hanuman and Sugriva are on the Rishyamukha Parvatam. Rama and Lakshmana have gone to the forest. They've lost Sita, and they are going in search of Sita, and they have crossed Lake Pampa, and now they're coming near Rishyamukha Parvata. Sugriva is on top of the Rishyamukha Parvata, and he sees these two people coming there, and he is suspicious that these are people sent by Vali. Because Vali cannot come to Rishyamukha Parvata, he feels like he has sent some strong warriors to go tackle Sugriva. So Sugriva is very concerned. At that time, he tells Hanuman, Hanuman, you go find out who these two people are and see whether they are men sent by Vali. And don't go in your current form, because if they are Vali's men, they'll immediately understand who you are. So you go in disguise. So Hanuman disguises himself like a sage and he goes to Rama and Lakshmana. And then when he sees Rama and Lakshmana, he's asking, "Who are you? You look like you're a saint. You're dressed like a saint with all your jatamudi and the kind of attire that you're wearing. But at the same time, I see this strong bow and the sword, and just the way you're walking, everything tells me that you are competent warriors. Who are you people? Are you gods who have descended from the heaven, or but just know that your presence here is getting everyone scared. All the animals are getting scared. Who are you?" At that time, Rama and Lakshmana are not actually answering because they are wondering, who's this sage who suddenly came in this forest? Is he someone we can talk to, or is he a demon? What does this guy want? So the Rama and Lakshmana are looking at it. Then Hanuman realizes that these guys are refusing to speak to him. So then he tells them that, I am Hanuman, I'm a Vanara, I'm the minister of Sugriva. Sugriva wants to find out who you are, and if you're not Vali's men, we want to extend a hand of friendship to you. At that time, Rama says, "You know what? The way this person is speaking," and he's referring to Hanuman, and he says, "Nobody who does not know the Vedas can speak like that," because Hanuman's sentences were so well constructed, no grammatical mistakes, etc. But the way he delivered it was also without any pretense, right? So, very authentic, very humble, very sweet, and intended to evoke feelings of confidence in the other person. So Rama is really surprised, and he also recognizes the greatness of Hanuman. He says he is Vakya Kovidaha. That means he is extremely skilled and capable at speaking, at speech. And Rama exclaims, if you have a minister like this, what can't a king do? And therefore, Rama and Lakshmana decide to go along with Hanuman, and Hanuman takes them to Sugriva, and that thus becomes a friendship with Sugriva, which is mutually beneficial for both parties. Sugriva was able to win over Vali with Rama's help, and Rama, most importantly, got a entire Vanara Sena to help him in his search for Sita. So now, after having won over Vali, Sugriva sends all his Vanara Sena in multiple directions to go search for Sita. So Rama is with Sugriva, and then Hanuman, Angada, and Jambavan are going in search of Sita towards the south. So they keep going all the way, and finally they have reached the ocean itself. Now they come to know that across this ocean there is Lanka, and that's where Ravana has taken Sita. So somebody has to cross this ocean and go there. And at that time, Jambavan reminds Hanuman of all his greatness, and therefore Hanuman is going into Lanka. And this is the start of a very amazing chapter within Ramayana called Sundarakandam. There is no chapter within Ramayana that's named after a character, and only Sundarakandam is named after Hanuman. It is said that Anjana calls him Sundara, but also you can look at this entire chapter. It is beautiful because until that point there is hopelessness. They've lost Sita. Rama is constantly lamenting. So Sundarakandam is the one where they have found where Sita is. So it is one of hope. It is one of lot of beauty in it, and you can see all the characteristics exhibited by Hanuman in there. And if someone exhibits these qualities, then their life cannot be anything but beautiful. So let's look at Sundarakandam in a very brief way. So and also Sundarakandam tells you, when you have bhakti in your heart, look at what you can do. You can even cross the ocean, and whether that ocean is a metaphorical samsara sagaram or your ability to extend your capabilities, both of those are very true. When bhakti becomes properly sitting in our heart, then bhakti can allow us to get any shakti that we want. And so Sundarakandam is a great example of that. So As soon as Jambavan reminds Hanuman, Hanuman immediately decides that just like an arrow that's launched by Rama, how fast it'll go, like that I will go to Lanka. And then on his way, the Mainaka Parvatam says, rest for a while, crossing the ocean is a hard task. Anjaneya does not listen to all of that. He says, you know what, I've taken this job, I'm going to first do this job, only then any rest. And therefore, he goes along his way, and then he does face a lot of obstacles. There is the Surasa who comes up, and he is able to, with his wisdom and intelligence, trick her and win her appreciation and move further in. And then when he reaches Lanka, he is intercepted by Lankini, who is the goddess of Lanka. And then he is able to overpower her, and Lankini also allows him inside. And then once Hanuman goes inside, it is said that he put his left foot first in Lanka. And generally, we've all heard, right? When the daughter in law comes to the house for the first time, they'll say, keep your right foot in. So if you're going to a friend's house, someone who is amicable with you, you put your right foot in. If you're going into the enemy's house, you put your left foot in. So he put his left foot in as if placing his feet on the enemies themselves. And then Hanuman goes in there and he's searching everywhere in the Antapuram, in the palace, etc. He comes to see everybody. He sees Ravana. He sees how beautiful his palace is and all the wealth in Lanka and how people are, how much they adore Ravana. He's able to see all of that, but he's not able to find Sita anywhere. He sees Mandodari. For a minute, he wonders whether this is Sita. Remember, Hanuman hasn't seen Sita ever. So he's going just by the description given by Rama. So for a minute he sees, because Mandodari is also equally like that, pious, beautiful, in a sattvic way. But he then comes to the conclusion, the way Rama explained, this lady would never have agreed to wear all these beautiful clothes and sleep in a bed like that, and therefore this cannot be Mandodari. So his ability to connect the dots, draw inferences, we can see in this. And then he comes to see a forest at a distance, and that is the Ashokavana. He says, maybe she'll be here, let me go search there. Because even for him, for a minute he was thinking, oh, all this effort and I've still not seen, will this go waste? Is it a waste of time for me to come here? But he did not give up. And so when he saw the Ashokavanam, he decided he will go inside there. And when he went there, he saw under a tree, there was a lady who was sitting, whose clothes were all looking very dirty. It looked as if she hadn't eaten in many days. And she almost looked like the first crescent that comes up after the Amavasya, the no moon. So she was looking that thin, and it seemed like even breathing was hard for her, and she was a picture of sadness. And she was surrounded by all these Rakshasis. So Hanuman decides, okay, this is the Sita, and she's also wearing that yellow silk, and Sita had thrown her jewels tied in a portion of her sari, and that was the same silk that she was wearing. So Hanuman is now sure that he has seen Sita. Now, he sees how she's surrounded by the Rakshasis, and he also sees how Ravana is coming and pressurizing her to say, marry me. But she is not giving in. She did not even look at Ravana. She did not even turn her attention towards him. She actually grabbed a grass blade, and she put that, and that's how she addressed him. So he sees how committed she is to Rama. Now, Hanuman wants to talk to Sita, but you can see here the emotional intelligence that is displayed by Hanuman. Here is a lady who's been surrounded by all these Rakshasis, constantly being threatened and pressurized. If he approaches her suddenly, and all these demons are shape-shifting, so they can take any form. Supposing she sees him and he is a monkey person, then what if she gets scared and yells, right? And if it'll draw the attention of everybody, and then that'll completely destroy the mission. So he had to do it in a manner where he had to inspire confidence in Sita that he's really the messenger of Rama, and he also had to do it in a way that it doesn't draw anybody's attention. So what he did is he climbed up on top of the tree where Sita was sitting, and he took a very minuscule form, And there he sat down and he started to narrate the story of Rama. He said how there was a king Dashrata, how he has a son Rama, and all the way up to Janaki being abducted by Ravana, and how so many monkeys are searching for her. Once Sita hears this, she is a bit surprised. Who's talking about my husband? And therefore she looks up and she sees this Anjaneya. And then he says, I'm the messenger of Rama, and Rama and Lakshmana both are doing fine, and he wants to make sure that you are fine. So I came as a messenger of Rama. So then Sita is so happy, just listening to it. Finally, for so much struggle that she has faced, Rama did not give up and he's still looking for her. But because of having been abducted and being threatened by all these people, she is oscillating between, is this really the person whom Rama sent, or is this another trick of Ravana? And at that time, Hanuman shows the ring that was sent by Rama. And as soon as Sita got that ring, she's so happy, as if Rama himself has come. And then Sita then takes the Chudamani and gives it to Anjaneya. So now he also has a token that he can give back to Rama, so that he can be sure that he met the right person. So then Anjaneya decides that he needs to show his presence, and therefore he goes about, he takes a big form and starts destroying all the trees and everything around in Lanka, and because of which everybody gets to know that there is a giant here and they've never seen anything like this. So Ravana is sending all his soldiers. Finally, when Indrajit comes, he is throwing the Brahmastra at Hanuman. Hanuman is all capable. If he wanted, he could have totally nullified the Brahmastra, but that would be disrespectful to Brahma, and therefore Hanuman submits himself to the Brahmastra, and then he is taken to the palace of Ravana, where he delivers this message and he tells him to release Sita, but Ravana does not want to. In fact, Ravana wants to kill Hanuman, and then Vibhishana reminds him that it's not okay to kill a messenger, and therefore they tie his tail with a cloth, and they dip it in oil and they light up his tail. So that way, for a monkey, the tail is very important. So Ravana thought that was something that he could, but he did not know who he was dealing with. Hanuman went ahead and set fire to all of Lanka, and then he dipped his tail in the ocean, and therefore his tail, all the fire was put out. And then Hanuman again went back to Sita and told her that he was safe and that he was going to Rama, and he is going to bring Rama, and they will come and fight the battle and release her. And again, you can see here the emotional intelligence. We saw the prowess and how he was able to fight everybody, the ability for him to be fearless and talk to Ravana. But even with all of this, he came back because he lit Lanka by fire. He wanted to make sure that Sita is okay. And then he also knows that all the Rakshasis, when Hanuman was captured, they all came. You thought that guy will help you. The monkey that came to talk to you, we have captured. Our king has captured. So everybody was saying that. So he knows Sita will be worried. After a long time, she got a good news. So she would be worried. So he comes back again, assures her of his good health, says that I'm going to go bring Rama. So then from there he goes to meet Rama, and when he sees Rama, he does not waste words, and this is something we all have to learn from Hanuman. Immediately as soon as he sees Rama, he says, saw Sita. He did not use any extra words. He said, saw Sita. Because had he started with I or Sita, whatever it is, I saw Sita or I did not see Sita. Both could have been possible. Or Sita was found, Sita was not found. Both of those could be possible. So at that time, he did not even want to give that tension to Rama, because if you start with I or Sita, Rama will be wondering what is going to come after that, found or not found. Whereas he just made sure, saw Sita. As soon as he said it, he got the immediately gave that comfort for Rama. Again, emotional intelligence here. When he went to Sita, He could have just been thinking, oh, it's my job to tell her, go see. He could even execute it that way. But he was able to think about what is the position that the other person is in, what have they gone through, and how should I present this in a way that will be received by that person. So everywhere we can see that Hanuman is great at that emotional intelligence. And again, with Rama, he is able to see that this person has been waiting, has been searching for his wife for so long, and so is able to give the information that is immediately needed so that that can quench the anxiety that they have. So finally, we all know Rama goes to Lanka, kills Ravana, wins over Sita, and they all come back. And during that particular war, another major thing that happened is that the Indrajit had put a astra which actually hit Lakshmana and he fell. And if the Sanjeevini did not come before the sunrise, then Lakshmana would die. So it was Hanuman who went, and he couldn't find which herb was the Sanjeevani amidst all the things in that mountain. So he brought the entire mountain so that it can be quickly done. And here you can also see the resourcefulness when something has to be done by a particular time, not getting lost in the way you do it, quickly figuring out. So prioritizing, being able to be conscious of what is important, those are all things that Hanuman is exhibiting in all of these. So, and if you can see the favor that he did for Rama, when Rama was sent to the forest, you remember Kaikeyi only wanted Rama to go to the forest. She didn't even say Sita should go or Lakshmana should go. It was them who wanted to go with him. But even Kausalya did not agree for Rama to go. She said, "You cannot go, or I will come with you." Whereas if you look at Sumitra, when Lakshmana said he's going with Rama, she did not ask, hey, she only asked Rama to go, why are you going? She didn't ask that. What Sumitra said to Lakshmana, before I hear that something happened to Rama, I should hear that Lakshmana is dead. As long as you are there, nothing can happen to Rama. It is your job to protect Rama. So she sent her son to protect Rama. You can imagine as a mother what a great thing that is. And that's why Sumitra is one of high wisdom and knowledge. And she sent like that. If something had happened to Lakshmana in that war, imagine what that would have done to Rama. How would he face Sumitra? So the Sanjeevani that Hanuman brought was so important. Just like he found Sita for Rama, saving Lakshmana's life was an equally important thing that he did for Rama. And then obviously when they came back from Lanka to Ayodhya, on the way they stopped at Bharadwaja Muni's ashram, and he asked them to stay back there. But in the meantime, Bharata had set a time and he said, if you don't come by this time, I'll jump into the fire. So it was Hanuman who went to Bharata and let them know that everybody is safe, they're all coming, so don't jump into the fire. So this is how Hanuman was born. He met Rama and he did everything. And if you see all through, you can see many times it was Hanuman who came to the aid of Rama. Yet Hanuman calls himself Rama Bhakta. And this is what bhakti is, right? First of all, it's humility, right? All of us, if we go and help someone, we'll never say we are devoted to the person we helped. Always, if our hand is in the giving position, we think highly of ourselves. Yet here is one who constantly helped Rama, but he calls himself as Rama Bhakta. And that is the essence of bhakti. Bhakti is not about what God can give us. Bhakti is about how much we can give to God, how much we love God, how much we embrace God. That's what bhakti is all about. It is not about a relationship where, if I pass on the exam, I will do 108 coconuts for you. That is not bhakti. That still, even then, we should not leave it, because as we go in that path, slowly we'll get towards true bhakti. But true bhakti is unconditional love for God, unconditional offering of ourselves to God, unconditional surrender towards God is called bhakti. And that's what Anjaneya shows to all of us. And so there are so many things we can learn from Anjaneya, be it his intelligence, be it his manner of speaking, be it his prowess, be it his power, and most importantly, his humility. And that will take us a long way. राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की. That's all for today.